Welcome to the second viewing. New look, same great taste. I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
Shaka bra. Today on the podcast, we're going to do things a little different for you guys. We figured since the year is half over, we would do a little year in review so far, like, best of in terms of film and maybe some other things we want to chat about so far of 2016. So we've devised, some films that we've seen that we've loved and some films that we didn't love so much. And also, we're going to talk about what we're excited for the rest of the year coming up, and that's going to be kind of on the docket and the program for today. Yeah.
So kicking it off, we're going to bring it in with a list of our top 5 favorite movies of 2016 thus far, and then we'll move into some other stuff afterwards. Or wait, I think maybe we should start with the ones that we disliked this year to get that out of the way.
I think it's probably a good idea because since we are recording on 4th of July, America Day, if you will, our boy Captain America has a couple ties to that.
Oh, all right. Segue right into the first one off our list of least favorite movies of 2016, which there's only 2, so I think that's a good start because we have more favorites than we do of titles we hate.
That's a good point. Although, this being said, it's been slim pickings a little bit this year.
It's true, it has.
A little bit, but that's how it always is. By the end of the year, like come November, December, all the good shit comes out.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we are going to start off things off with Captain America Civil War. But I like to call it Captain America Civil Bore.
Oh my God, that's horrible. But yeah, definitely one of my least favorite movies of the year so far.
The movie had some okay moments for me.
It did have a couple of okay moments. Now, the things we were excited for in the movie based on the trailer, which maybe it was a mistake to watch the trailer before we went in.
To be fair, it was a good trailer.
The trailer was good.
It was a good trailer. Mm-hmm. Movie, fucking bad.
Yeah, very bad.
It was like watching a 2.5-hour episode of The West Wing with Marvel characters in it.
It's true. It was like a political drama.
Which, maybe could be good, but that's not what I'm looking for in a movie like this.
Yeah, you're looking for action, fighting. You got all these superheroes together, and all they're doing is talking. They're not fighting. It's like, what do we associate with superheroes? Fighting
and there was one pretty good fight sequence, I would say.
Well,
that was the best part of the movie.
I also count maybe the fight scene towards the end to be pretty good.
I barely remember it, to be honest with you. Was that with like Captain America
and Tony
Iron
Stark,
Man, and whatever the other guy is?
Black
Winter
Panther?
Soldier. Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is directed by the same guys who directed Captain America: Winter Soldier, which most people seem to enjoy.
Yeah, most people seem to really like this movie. Now, neither of us have actually seen it,
and I don't really have the urge to be honest.
I've tried to start it like 3 times, and it never happens.
Well, I ended up seeing it came out before Avengers 2, and I saw Avengers 2, and I felt like I missed nothing from Captain America 2 or whatever. So I thought it was fine. And, you don't need to watch the second one. This third one is the best. Okay, let's be serious. Spider-Man was the best part.
Yeah,
I would say.
100%. But even I have some gripes. I had some gripes with the Spider-Man scenes yet. Still.
I think Spider-Man was pretty good in this movie. I was into it. Truth be told, his house seemed a lot nicer than maybe it could for out of your poor kid.
Yeah, he was not looking like a down in the dumps poor kid.
Yeah, I agree. I find that strange because his actual room maybe could seem like he's a poor kid, but his house.
His room actually looked like kind of cool. It had like antiques in it, and like he was collecting.
I don't think those are antiques, dude. I'm pretty sure that's old shit.
No, they were antiques. The guy was like.
No one just has an antique computer laying around.
Okay, he was like fixing it up and stuff. Like it seemed like a hobby. No. Like
to be fair, they never elaborate on it. We don't know.
That's true, but the feeling I got was no.
I don't know. I was into it. I thought Spidey was good. I'm pretty excited for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I'm excited for that as well, but I think we should move on to our next most hated film.
Was there much more to talk about this one? Because it's probably the worst movie almost of any year.
Oh, man.
Actually, that's not true. Paul Blart's still worse.
Paul Blart takes the cake on this one.
The second worst movie we've covered on this podcast so far is also the number 2 movie, worst movie of the year so far.
Deadpool.
This movie makes no sense.
Everyone loves this flick, and we're probably gonna get some gripes for saying we hate it, but fuck me, did they just reuse the same jokes the entire time, breaking the fourth wall? The only interesting scene was the opening credits.
Yeah, well, it's one of
Maybe
those.
I'm being a little harsh on it. I'll give it the first 10 minutes a
Okay,
solid
well, yeah,
thumbs
we've
up.
talked about this in depth, I guess, at this point, but the first, 10, 15 minutes is, good, but the rest of the movie does its best to make you hate the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got so many issues with this, and I don't think we should get into it too much.
Well,
but
what's your biggest thing? You could break it up, it's fine. A lot of people here probably haven't actually listened to the Deadpool cast. If you want to hear our in-depth thoughts, check that out, but continue.
Okay, so for a brief overview of why I thoroughly dislike this movie, it falls under the classic category of bullshit damsel in distress without bringing any originality. The female, sort of who you think is going to be the heroine, but ends up just being a damsel in distress. She's built up to be this really cool person, sort of toe and toe, neck and neck with Deadpool, with Ryan, whatever his name is.
Reynolds.
Thank you.
He's Canadian, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right. So I dislike him less after this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's pretty much the worst.
But yeah, so basically, this chick that he's in love with is kind of like, I don't know. They're sort
She's
of
badass.
Yeah,
She's badass.
She comes across very badass. They put a lot of effort into making that happen, and then towards the end, she's just, oh, I can't do anything. I'm just a helpless little girl. It's like, and it's bullshit because we know that she's gonna end up being a superhero.
Copycat.
Yeah, she ends up being copycat.
It makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know. I stand by that.
The villain was 4 seconds long of garbage.
The villain was not a villain. The guy literally shows up in the first 15 minutes, reveals himself, runs away, and then becomes the big baddie by the end of it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
And the fight scene was just kind of like complete garbage.
Should we break the fourth wall right now?
No. Let's not do it. I'm not into it.
I'm breaking the fourth wall. Hey guys, welcome to Deadpool, Part 2. More dead, less pool.
Oh my god.
Guys having a pool party on 4th of July? Because I'm having a dead... Okay, anyways. Movie sucks. I mean, we're obviously in the minority because the movie made a ton of money at the box office. A lot of people enjoyed it. The best thing I can say about the movie overall is that well, we'll bring this up later, sadly, but it might show studios that rated R films have a space in the theater space,
Right.
in cinema, and they can generate money, and they're worth putting time and effort into.
Right. So if anything, it fought for rated R movies. And I guess it's kind of cool that Ryan Reynolds really wanted to bring back Deadpool to the big screen, and he sort of fought to make this movie, which is kind of cool. But it's like, okay, if you're going to do it, do it right. I mean, it stood out to a certain degree. Just by its blatant breaking of the fourth wall and advertising campaigns, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know. I think the movie was just written in a strange way. It had a lot of potential. That's the thing. Anytime that movie does something great, the movie tries to make you hate that part about it.
Yeah.
There's aspects that work, but by the end of the movie, just it felt like a waste of my time.
Also, the director of the movie looks like how The Wolf of Wall Street portrays Steve Madden.
Wowzers.
That's just throwing that out there.
It's a small tidbit.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind that we watched the movie twice in one day, and I'll never do that ever again.
Actually, I would do it again.
You would watch Deadpool twice in a day again?
Well, not Deadpool, but I watch a movie twice in the same day.
Oh, fair. But, I mean, I'm apprehensive. After watching Deadpool twice in a day, I'm apprehensive.
I watched Birdman twice in one day, and I loved Birdman. As soon as I finished Birdman the first time, I instantly just hit play again and was like, I got to watch that again. It's so good. I love it.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I guess I have to stay away from a movie that I know is bad.
Yeah, these superhero movies, I'm going to be very selective with my choices of which ones I see.
But we should maybe get into our top 5.
All
the
right.
Good movies of the year. The good movies. So we kind of made separate lists, and we just combined them into one big list of top 5 movies.
Mm-hmm.
One of these titles is two of these are kind of sort of cheating, but we'll get into that. Anyways, number 5 we got The Nice Guys with good old Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. I always want to say Colin Farrell for some reason, but whatever. This was a cool film. It really felt like you were in the 70s watching this. It was just it was a good buddy cop movie. I mean, I haven't seen it going in a long ass time. And both characters are really funny. They kind of play the straight man. They kind of play the bad cop. And they work really well off each other, and I don't know. I thought Shane Black, the director of this film, did a really good job, again, with the set pieces and, like, making you feel like you were in the 70s and, like, to the music and the billboards and the clothing, and it all really fucking fit for me. I thought it was a really fun time. I wanted to see more of these characters. Like, I kind of wanted, like, a TV series or something, or, like, hell, I'd be down for a sequel, honestly. Like,
I actually haven't seen this movie, but I trust you at being a really great choice.
I'm sure you would enjoy this one, dude.
I saw the trailer and really thought it was going to be a movie I'd like, but now I still have to see it. It is playing right down the street from here at the Roxy, so.
Yeah, it's playing this week. It'll end up being on home release not terribly long from now. But I would recommend it. I think it's a fun movie. Like, overall, it had some really good laughs. It's just a good, like, action. It's not even like, it does action right. Like, for me, this is the kind of action movie I like, where it's not just all, like, shoot 'em up every single room you're in, but at the same time, it's like there's a pretty good story going on. There's some sick action scenes, likable characters.
A nice balance of everything.
Exactly, good balance. So overall, like, solid flick. So I would recommend it. The only thing is, I think some of the characters might come off a little bit, like, annoying to some people. I would think that's probably, like, I could see these guys maybe just coming off as complete assholes, but I found them as just, like, anti-heroes, I guess you could say. Or, like, I appreciate their asshole qualities in a way. Like, I thought it was kind of funny.
Right.
So that might not translate well for everyone, but I would still recommend it. I think it's a pretty good one.
Right. And the next one is?
Number 4, we got Hail Caesar. So this is a pretty good flick.
I really liked it when I saw it. Mind you, I was a little inebriated.
Well, good old Cineplex VIP will do that to you. Vodka waters, guys.
Vodka waters.
No, but this is kind of a cool flick, directed by, like, Joel and Ethan Coen.
Kind of kitschy.
It's a little kitschy. No, it does this weird, like, serious. I don't know, like.
It wants to be taken seriously, but it's not meaning to be in some way. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and it's hard to describe unless you've seen it, but I think it was done really well. Yeah, and the movie takes place in, like, the golden age of Hollywood, where these movies were just seen as, like, huge investments. Mm-hmm. And just, like, we're just kind of getting pawned off to different studios to make the biggest. This is when movies were starting to be seen as a business rather than, filmmaking or art kind of thing. And we see George Clooney become this, big movie star, and he gets kidnapped by communists. And this movie, it's like, to me, it feels like as if, like, the Coen brothers did, like, a Wes Anderson film or something. Right, yeah. It kind of has this kind of, like, funny, like, kitschy's a pretty good word, like, sensibility to it. And everything's really kind of, like, stunted and precise. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It's serious, but it's almost, like, cute. Yeah, it's cute. I would agree. But I think what comes down is that the story is actually really cool. Mm-hmm. I gave this film a second viewing, actually, and I ended up appreciating it a lot more because the characters they do focus on are really well developed from, like, the beginning of the movie, kind of. Like, they do this thing where everything you know about each character kind of gets flipped on its head. It's kind of, there's a lot of, like, plot twists, I guess you could say, or something like that. And if you watch it again, you kind of get a nice, like, gratification from that because you kind of see where it's going. I'm excited to watch it again for sure. Absolutely. Totally, man. I would recommend it. I think, if you enjoyed it enough the first time, you definitely would. And I think it's going to be kind of one of those sleeper hits because it didn't do terribly well, and not a lot of people talked about it. But I feel like there's a bit, from what I understand, people who liked it really liked it. So I think it might be one of those honorable mentions or sleeper hits coming the end of the year. We might end up talking about it again. You never know. Yeah. So coming in at number 3, I guess. 3, yeah. I gotta jump the gun there a little bit. Tim Gunn over there. Anyway, so number 3 we got Deepon. So this is one of the films I'm kind of cheating with because technically it was a festival release last year and it got a European release last year. But anyways, it got a North American release 2016, and that's when I was able to see it in the theater, so counting it as 2016 release for us. And that is, so Deepon. This is the film from Sri Lanka and France. It was technically entered as a French film, but it was Sri Lankan made. And it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes last year. And this is a cool, really visceral film. Like, you feel so, like, on edge the whole time, which I think is becoming kind of
maybe a trope or a trait I really enjoy in film, and we'll kind of get to that a little bit later. And there's always just like you're always on the edge of your seat. You always like felt every scene that was taking place and every interaction these characters were participating in, you weren't sure of, and you weren't sure. You just didn't feel sure of it, and you didn't think it was going to end well for them. And I mean, in some cases they do, some cases they don't. And for those who don't know, Deepon is a story of a family who isn't actually a family. It's just a man, a woman, and a child who all want to escape from Sri Lanka and immigrate somewhere else, and they end up becoming refugees. And you know, the Sri Lankan government just decides that, okay, you're husband and wife now, and this is your daughter. So they're not a family. They don't really know each other. I think they allude to them kind of like knowing each other from like the village or something. Like they kind of know of each other, but they have no actual personal connection, or you know, even a communal connection. And they're forced to become a family, and they move to France. But it's not like in a good sense, because they end up having to work. The father, Deepon, has to work this shitty janitorial job in this like basically this like kind of like, I guess, project community in which it's all just run by drug lords, and it's all run by like, you know, mafia like figures. And so it does this cool thing where they escape the war in Sri Lanka but end up finding another one.
Right.
And that's kind of what the whole movie tells this tale of, how, you know, it focuses a lot on like PTSD and like dealing with, you know, your inner demons, and, you know, what's right and what's wrong, you know, and when is too much, you know, when do you find that threshold for yourself? And I don't know, it was, you kind of, I think any viewer would make that realization where it's like, well, where they live now is just the same war they were fighting before. And it's just like, it hits you, everything hits you, and every scene from then on and before kind of really makes some cool connections, and there's a couple surreal moments that I really enjoyed, and I got nothing but good things to say about it. I really enjoyed it. Although, actually, I have one thing bad to say about it. The ending for me was a little bit of a cop-out. I'm not going to spoil it, but I thought the ending was a little bit lackluster. But the rest of the film overall, fucking excellent. Really.
And that brings us to our last choice.
Actually, this is number 2.
What?
We're second last.
So sorry, second last choice.
We have no idea how lists work here, apparently. But we got number 2, and that's Green Room. So that's a pretty fun one. I think we both really connected with this movie.
Yeah, this definitely fights with the Lobster for me. They're both really
these are
really high up there on the list. Now, Green Room is. It's nothing like I've really ever seen before. It's very unique.
Yeah,
but it brings different ideas from different types of movies together. I think like almost a thriller-like theme to almost thug-like theme, mixed with a really artful and visually stunning film, which is kind of amazing.
And it does a really cool thing. The director of this film, Jeremy Sandler, not Sandler, I wish, but like Sandler, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He does this cool thing in all of his films where he kind of like inserts comedy into weird sections.
Yeah.
And weird, like, it's maybe not even comedy, it's for sure dark comedy. But he fits it in this weird way, like you're describing kind of these different genres that are being used and displayed.
It does like light up the corners within the movie.
Yeah,
almost.
it kind of makes you. They're really jarring at some points, and
it almost pokes fun at the way a couple of the guys die.
Yeah, and
like
this movie touches violence in a strange way.
Yeah,
it's very much hard to take in some aspects.
Yeah, I mean, it takes place basically within a Nazi sort of band camp. Like a Nazi commune of sorts, like a.
Well, it's like a headquarters, it feels like, or something. Like,
I mean, it's essentially a heroin production in the middle of the forest in, I think, Oregon, they mentioned.
Yeah. They're traveling in the States. I can't remember exactly where.
For some reason, I think it's Oregon, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, it's a very lush and green setting, and it's in the middle of nowhere almost, and it's basically just a bunch of hippie or Nazi thugs that sell heroin and work for the boss, but they're
skinheads. Yeah,
they're skinheads.
Actually, this movie I think is one of those ones we're probably gonna want to revisit and probably bring back to the cast. So we don't want to give away too much on our thoughts, just because we do have a lot to say, and we do want to say it at some point in the future.
And we still haven't seen it for a second time, so.
So there's probably a lot more. We have a lot of theories, and we have a lot of shit to talk about the movie. So get excited for that. But that's gonna bring us to number one really quick, and that's just gonna be the movie that started season 2 of the second viewing, and there's a reason why we felt that way about it, and that's The Lobster.
Lobster. I love this movie, and it's so close to being tied with Green Room for me.
Green Room is good. Again, I think we're gonna maybe get an idea of what we really think maybe the second time we watch Green Room potentially.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the Lobster is incredible. This one actually stars Colin Farrell, not Russell Crowe, believe it or not. And I don't know, I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. I have very little gripes with it.
Yeah, I like the structure. I like the ending. I like the film style. The light symbolism. I think it's fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more of our thoughts on that, please reframe to, I guess, episode 16 of the podcast, 15 of the podcast.
Or episode 1 of season 2.
Well, episode 1 of season 2. Check that out, because we go in depth on The Lobster. We have a lot of cool things to talk about, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. It just got released on home video, so pick that up. And but actually we're going to take a break. We just finished our top 5 movies of 2016. We're going to go back after with some anticipated flicks and maybe a little surprise as well. So you guys stay in tune, and we'll catch you after the breaker.
And we're back.
All right, guys. So before the cast took a break there, we were talking about the top 5 movies of 2016 for us up until this point. But right now, we're going to kind of take a look at the future, what the rest of the year beholds for us.
Our most anticipated top 7.
Yeah.
Now, we combined our lists, and we had a little bit over 5, but I think we're okay with that. There's a lot to look forward to this year.
We're probably just going to list off what we have here and then elaborate on the ones that we really want to talk about. Because, again, some of these are anticipated. We don't know much about them. There's not more than maybe a trailer or an image or synopsis about it. So, but there's reason for being excited for it. So, first one we have here is a Neon Demon. Now, this might already be out in some places, in the world. North America got a release a couple weeks ago. In the States there. But here in Canada, we're waiting to get it in limited release. And this is the new Nicholas Winding Refn film. The guy directed Drive, Only God Forgives. And he's one of my favorite directors, so I'm really looking forward to... And
this one talks a little bit, it follows a modeling crowd of sorts, am I right?
Yeah, it's supposed to kind of look at how society, over-sexualizes young women, essentially. And, kind of, looking at that in, a psychological sense and also, a realistic sense. So, supposed to have, thriller, elements to it, which is interesting to me. I don't know how that's going to play into it. Or horror-like, is from what I hear.
Well, if it's anything similar to Drive, I could see it going in that direction somehow.
Well, Drive has this really dark tone to it, and like you're saying, I totally could see that in this movie too. Only God Forgives is kind of one of those movies I think you either love or hate. I think it's fucking fantastic.
The visuals are unreal.
Oh, 100%. I think I think Drive is just maybe a more it's easy it can be easier to be consumed by a larger amount of people.
Right.
Just a little bit more viewer friendly, I suppose. Neon Demon has a bit of a tone that kind of might be following that, which I think is good because I think Refn's biggest flaw is when he goes a little bit too abstract, a little bit too surreal. It kind of
caters to a niche market instead of the masses. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of it becomes a little bit confused as to what the movie's really about. For instance, there's some really great deconstructing Only God Forgives videos on YouTube, and if you watch that, you'll be like, whoa, you just didn't think the movie was like that, and I mean, you could take any movie how you want, and he hasn't really officially said what it's about, but anyways, we're thinking here Neon Demon's going to be a bit more straightforward film in his filmography, and I'm looking forward to it. Actually, a local theater's going to be getting here in a couple weeks, so that's going to be some good stuff. Another one here, a big one, is Jason Bourne.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
You're probably the most excited for this one.
I love spy movies in general, or heist movies. Not The Heist, just to be clear.
Do you
that
by
movie's
chance
terrible.
Tower Heist featuring Eddie Murphy?
Tower Heist, one of my favorites. I'm just
it's a
kidding.
really fucking bad movie.
But no, I'm super excited for Jason Bourne. I mean, what was the last one they came out with that wasn't with Jason Bourne?
It was
Bourne
Legacy?
Bourne Legacy, yeah. So there's the Bourne trilogy, Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, and Bourne Ultimatum, and then it goes into the Bourne Legacy.
I never saw the Legacy one.
Bourne Legacy, I just have I think the story's not bad. I just have a problem with the casting choice.
Right. Yeah. They went with the Jeremy or
can't remember his name.
Retner? Jeremy, I can't remember his name right now. The guy who was in The Hurt Locker, he plays Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They chose Hawkeye, man, and because I really think that the world that they paint within the Jason Bourne series can be expanded on so heavily. I mean, they always have mentioned the fact that there's other agents, and Jason Bourne was not the most efficient.
Right.
Like, Jason Bourne was amazing, and he was rogue, but he wasn't the best of them.
There's more to this agency.
Yeah, there's more to so, I think there was over 10 of these guys, essentially sleeper agents, I guess. One of them being Jason Bourne, which the series has followed. Now, in the Legacy, they introduce their most skilled agent.
And that's Jeremy
Renner. So, how does that fit? It just doesn't, it doesn't live up.
It's kind of like jumping the shark. It's got a little bit too big. Not enough substance over what they're actually trying to do.
Yeah,
exactly. Is that based off, a novel as well, by chance, the Legacy one?
Potentially, yeah.
Because for me, that always seemed like it was just the black sheep of the series. It was just... Because I guess it's not supposed to... It wasn't supposed to ever have Matt Damon in it, right?
No, it follows a different a different character within the same world. That makes more sense to me
because for some reason I thought it was casting conflict and they just picked a new Bourne.
So to sort of recap what's happened in the story, just very generally, is essentially these sleeper agents were to be killed.
Okay.
Now Jason Bourne escaped, and the Legacy takes place at the timeline where he's. Whatever agency they're working for is trying to kill them, eliminate them, and erase the project.
Gotcha.
So that's where it kicks off, and so it's like a cool idea and a very cool story. A shitty choice of actors.
Interesting, Jeremy Renner. I just feel like he wasn't. I just think it might be one of those things where you just can't live up to the character of Jason Bourne.
Yeah, and I
he's
also
so interesting in that world.
And you know what? Even if say. Let's say Matt Damon wasn't there and he somehow played a different character in it and played the role. It still wouldn't be as good as the other series.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't totally talk on that. But I totally see where you're coming from.
But the new Jason Bourne movie looks sweet. I mean, there's this scene in the trailer where Jason Bourne is doing some sort of street fighting. I get the idea that it's grimy and it's for money or it's to prove something really quick, and he's going up against a guy that looks so much bigger and meaner than him, and then all of a sudden, boom, one punch and the guy's down, and it's just this epic scene.
Man, Matt Damon really owes something to Jason Bourne because I feel like if it wasn't for Jason Bourne, what does Matt Damon really got going for him? I'm just gonna put it down there.
Throw that out there. We'll talk more about that later because that's an in-depth conversation.
I'm just saying, Matt Damon,
Stop talking about it. This is an in-depth conversation. Right. We need to have this later. So let's.
Okay, but I completely agree, man. Jason Bourne, that's gonna be a good flick. It's coming out at the end of this month, so we'll be looking forward to that.
Super excited.
Another film coming out near the end of the month as well, actually, in our area, is Cafe Society. This is a new Woody Allen flick. We relatively enjoyed his last one, Irrational Man, that came out last year.
Yeah.
Not an amazing movie. There's some kind of flawed parts, I'd say, but overall, pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
We do like Joaquin, pretty good dude,
yeah.
Mr. Phoenix there. So Cafe Society seems pretty cool. It's kind of another ensemble film, kind of in the same era as Hail Caesar, like we were talking earlier. Takes place in the boom of the Hollywood, golden age, and it features Jesse Eisenberg and a huge cast of actors. Steve Carell, Kristen Stewart, who I feel lukewarm about, but she's actually been in some really good stuff lately. I kind of like her
as of recently, yeah.
Totally, man. She's definitely changed my opinion on her a little bit lately, but it just looks like a kind of an interesting return to form for Woody Allen, really focusing on good characters, which I think he was starting to do again with Irrational Man. You kind of Joaquin Phoenix's character in that is fucking awesome, but some of the surrounding characters were a little bit flat. But I think him making another ensemble movie with all these, interesting, or potentially interesting characters, I think is something I'm excited for, and we'll definitely check out and probably bring up at some point because I'm interested. I mean, I'm generally a pretty big fan of his, but the thing about Woody Allen is when he makes a good movie, it's a good movie, but when he makes a bad movie, it's really fucking bad.
Hit or miss a little bit.
Yeah. And then later in the year, this is going to be probably the last superhero movie we'll watch this year, most likely.
Yeah.
That's going to be Suicide Squad.
We're feeling a little lukewarm on this recently.
a little lukewarm.
A little lukewarm. Reason being is it's PG-13.
Yeah, it's been announced that Suicide Squad will be released with the PG-13 rating. Like we were talking about earlier with Deadpool, we kind of were excited to see that, Hollywood got the idea that audiences want to see R-rated movies and they actually want to put their money towards that. And we kind of...
But also, it's really messed up. It's like it's kind of fucked up how they jump from being PG-13 to PG-14 to rated R.
Well,
right?
they never announced that it was going to be anything more. They never said it was...
That's right. So, I feel like one swear word passes for PG-13 and two swear words, all of a sudden you're rated R. It's kind of a really stupid jump, I feel like.
I'm pretty sure PG-13, they get the one F-bomb, and that's it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
So, and this doesn't have to be a movie with a lot of swear words, right? It does,
No.
It's not something like Deadpool, where in Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds and the character of Deadpool, you expect him to be, fuck this, fuck that.
Yeah, it's crude humor, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
Now, Suicide Squad is story-based, and what were the other Batman movies and stuff like that?
They were all PG-13 as well.
So... I think it's still possible to have a really great movie and be PG-13.
Yeah, totally.
However, it takes it out of a realm of what I was expecting, which maybe is a good thing.
Yeah,
so
I think
we can't judge too heavily.
At this point, we get the idea that it might be limiting the movie, but we haven't seen it yet, so we can't fully judge it.
Anytime you see a restriction put on anything, it kind of dulls your hope or sort of dulls the shine on.
And it just based off the trailers and stuff, I don't think any of us expected it to be PG-13. We're like, well, this looks gritty. This looks pretty we get so many reboots that are mature reboots or darker reboots, and, that's kind of, hit and miss. But with Suicide Squad, it's just a dark story, so there's no other way to go about it.
It seems like a very dark world. Now, I have a gripe with the trailer after talking with a friend about this recently. This is Harley Quinn walks by. Harley Quinn in the comic books was a psychiatrist. She was... She was a psychiatrist to the Joker.
Yeah.
Now, the Joker eventually sort of corrupted her and brought her into his world of darkness, essentially. But so she's a super intelligent character, an advisor to the Joker, if you will. So the way they portray her in the trailer is almost a little bit too ditzy and sexy for me.
Honestly, man, I wouldn't worry about it. I think that's probably a facade for her, don't you think?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point too. But the specific thing that brings that to mind is where she smashes the window of a department store and steals a purse, and it's like, we're bad guys. It's what we do, and it's kind of like, I would have.
But I don't know. From what I understand, I think it's. That's she has these kind of two personalities where she's just two extremes. Right. She's really kind of effeminate and kind of silly, but then she's also really fucking a hard ass and she can kill you at any moment.
Right.
I think maybe just the trailer's choosing to show more of one side than the other potentially.
Potentially, but I guess you could say that's the only thing that made me question the trailer a little bit. But for the most part, I'm still really excited.
I'm going in pretty neutral. There's not a character that I'm super excited to see on the big screen. But that being said, I'm just kind of generally excited to see them all. I want to see how they interact and to see who kind of who steals the spotlight for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess even looking back, what we said about Deadpool, the studios were working on Suicide Squad before Deadpool was released, so they had no idea if it was going to be successful or not anyways.
Right.
So we can't really judge Deadpool's success on the rating for Suicide Squad. Although another thing to mention is all these DC movies lately, they get a theatrical release, but then they also get kind of an uncut DVD version.
Okay.
The Man of Steel one has a lot more violence and is almost, I think, is technically rated 14A, and the Batman v Superman is also going to have that.
Okay, so potentially we might see the same.
So we might see kind of a version that might appeal more to us for a home release. But that's kind of another discussion for itself, whether that's just or not. But maybe we'll just save that for another time.
Speaking of which, I think maybe an honorable mention is Batman vs Superman. Now, I was chatting with someone. Apparently, it's actually not that bad of a flick. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Who are you talking with?
This is Liz.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. I saw Batman v Superman. Have you seen Spider-Man 3 by chance?
Yeah.
You've seen Batman v Superman.
Okay.
Next movie.
Oh my god, okay. All right, fair.
Just to elaborate on that, like it's just like villain overload. It's just character overload. No one gets developed. The best part of the movie is Ben Affleck. He's a good Batman. He's fine, but they don't give him enough. They do the origin story again. It's just like, one, we've seen it a million times, and two, no one gets enough spotlight to really feel fulfilled.
All right, fair enough.
And it's coming from a guy who actually kind of doesn't mind Spider-Man 3 for its campiness. So, but in terms of a storyline, it's god-awful. And
all right.
it kind of, that was my biggest fear with that trailer. Bringing Doomsday, I don't get into it.
Let's jump into the next movie. Different discussion.
Like, if you're going to kill Superbad, kill him off at the end, not for the second movie. Just
Spoiler alert on that one, thanks.
Dude, Doomsday's there.
Okay, play
the next movie. Yeah, the next movie is La 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 Land. I don't know too much about this movie other than just who's involved with it. We got Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Damn it. It's two Canadian Ryans. I always get them mixed up. Ryan Gosling, and it's a comedy musical directed by the same guy who worked on Whiplash, or directed Whiplash. So just kind of with that kind of talent, I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. It's been getting good reviews at the festival circuit and whatnot. I don't know if there's a trailer.
I mean, just if I was to judge basically, based off how awesome Whiplash was, I would say I'm extremely excited for it just based on that. And I mean, this director likes to focus on musical-based movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything he does
music-based.
His first film was a jazz documentary. He's working on some other musical influenced things. So it's kind of interesting. I have this theory that he was like a tortured artist, and that maybe Whiplash is somewhat autobiographical. But anyways, but no. So just based on who's involved, I think it's probably going to be a good flick.
Mm-hmm. What else do we got going on?
Next one is Kubo and the Two Strings.
Is this our last choice?
We got a couple more actually. Okay. A couple heavy hitters. So, but I don't know. Kubo looks like a good animated flick.
Yeah,
art style's
you were
awesome.
telling me earlier. Same studio that produced Coraline and
ParaNorman, and they put out the somewhat lackluster Box Trolls. But Leica Studios, I'm not too sure on the pronunciation, but
ParaNorman awesome. I really liked,
yeah.
and Coraline I really liked. Yeah, I think they're both great.
Those are really cool movies, 100%.
And the trailer for this movie really, it's beautiful. Like it makes. Yeah. It's so different.
The water textures are so interesting, and they're the masters of stop motion. Basically, these guys, they're so much attention to detail and so much character design and figure design, and so I'm
super excited for it.
I think just the characters are more pleasing. Like Box Trolls was a decent movie, but just I wasn't too interested in the characters or even the design of the world. This one alone, I already feel like I'm gonna have a better time enjoying. But yeah, again, I don't know too much of the story. I watched like a teaser trailer.
I think I get the impression it's like she's got to unlock some sort of legendary musical secret. Okay. So she's on like a journey to do that. So she's got like a special type of instrument, almost looks like a Chinese guitar or something.
It's a bow
or a mandolin,
sort of thing, like kind of like a
It looks like a cross between a mandolin and a violin, but like a longer neck. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. But and then she's also got a samurai sword. So
it's kind of a cool. I feel like there's a lot of mixing of ideas and maybe genres, which is kind of neat, and art styles, which kind of fits.
I'm excited for it just based on the trailer and the director or the studio.
Yeah. So the next flick coming up here is Assassin's Creed. So this is a video game adaptation of the popular franchise. Video game movies are almost always awful.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this, though. The reason we're excited for this movie is our boy...
Michael Fassbender is the main character in this flick.
Not to mention
probably our girl, also, Marion Cotillard, who the two starred in and filmed during the same time, Macbeth. So...
Yeah, and...
So much good chemistry in that flick. Yeah. I think, again, Assassin's Creed... From what I understand, it's in the world of Assassin's Creed, but it's a different story from any of the games. They're not just retelling a story from one of the games.
Which I'm always happy.
Yeah, I think as far as they could go with it, they're taking it into the right direction. Again, you kind of got to be apprehensive because all these video game adaptations are kind of hit and miss. I haven't seen Warcraft, although I've heard it's not bad, but it's not great. I heard it's just pretty good.
I've heard it sets you up for the movie doesn't end, it sets you up for the next.
Huh.
They just built it towards
depending on how the rest of the film is, it's not maybe a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it yet either. Just what I've heard about it, but game like games that turn into movies.
Almost always bad.
Yeah. So
But
we're
it's-
skeptical, but choice of actors and sort of choosing to
overall
stray away
setting,
from the
yeah.
game story is.
And they did put out a trailer, and it definitely looks like Assassin's Creed. Like you feel that. Although there's a Kanye West song playing in the background, which is not very fitting in my opinion, but whatever. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then the last one coming out the very end of the year is Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
So we if you've listened to our Star Wars podcast of the last Star Wars movie that came out in 2015,
Yeah, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, we're very excited about where the franchise is going.
100%. I think Disney and Lucasfilms are definitely taking the series in an interesting, honestly, fresh direction. They're taking kind of risks doing these side stories. This is the first side story. The Rogue One is the fleet of pilots who steal the plans to the Death Star. And it's kind of this, the behind the scenes look of how that was happening during, the first Star Wars film. And I don't know. I've been kind of trying to stay away from it to a degree because I don't want to ruin myself or anything. Although our boy Drew was just actually telling me before we were recording that apparently they had to refilm 60% of the film because something was wrong with it. Whether it was the shot was wrong, the shots were wrong the whole time, the lighting was wrong the whole time.
We can't judge it too heavily based on that because the film Her was also the voice actor was changed almost towards the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
that's different than filming
Star Wars is a visually heavy thing, and if the whole visuals are off, they have to film all over again, probably including audio too. I'm a little apprehensive. You're right.
It's true.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be bad. It's just I'm just sad to hear that basically because that's honestly that's shitty for the filmmaker. That's shitty for everyone involved.
Yeah,
really.
a lot of extra work, and that sucks.
And they're probably just trying to hit that deadline right now, that December deadline, and
I really
don't want it to be
hope-
rushed. Yeah. But nonetheless, I'm still stoked. From what I have seen about it, I watched the teaser trailer, and there's a lot of cool things going on, and gonna be some good stuff. And we'll probably do another one of these casts, at the end of the year, and maybe some of this stuff will come up again, and we'll elaborate, and we'll talk about maybe some sleeper hits, some things we missed.
Yeah, exactly. How did our
stuff.
anticipated films end up being, and all that kind of stuff.
And there's also a bunch of movies that have come out this year that we haven't seen yet that we want to see, and
That's true.
We'll make a point to talk about those at some point, and maybe put our thoughts up on the website or something like that, and just
But yeah,
to
I think before we go, we're gonna talk about a little bit of music that we've been listening to this year, some of our most favorite albums of the year, and just to leave it on a little lighter note here.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest album. Oh, there might be two. There's a few jamming right now, but the biggest one that our boy Drew wanted us to mention for sure.
1975.
1975, with the world's fucking longest album title. Hold on, I gotta read this. I like it when you sleep, for you are so beautiful, yet so unaware of it. I think I even said that wrong. Great record from front to back, really atmospheric. The first record for me was so many different genres going on, so many different sounds and cool things going on, and I wasn't too sure if they could follow up to that. But they definitely did. I thought this record was super fun.
Absolutely.
I've been jamming to it since it came out. I remember I was so stoked. Drew and myself were checking hasitleaked.com daily to see if it leaked anywhere. Highly would recommend it. We're just talking about stuff or media that we enjoy from the year so far. Highly recommend that 1975 record. And I think we probably got time to talk about one more. And I think, Dan, I think you know what it is.
It's either Heinz.
Or nothing, because it's Heinz.
Heinz, leave me alone. This has definitely been the soundtrack to our life lately.
Oh, yeah. When we're having a good time or we're on a dope titty vibe, if you will, we like to often put the Heinz in the front pocket and walk around like we own the world.
It's 100% true. These girls are killing it. I think they just finished their tour in Europe right now.
Yeah, they've been kind of world touring it lately. We were in Japan earlier. They've been going everywhere.
They've been killing it, though.
Oh,
they've been killing
monstrous.
it. The world loves them right now.
They're kind of a cool, if you guys haven't heard Heinz yet, they're kind of a cool, garage, surf rock, four-girl group. And they kill it on all fronts. Great catchy tunes. I
want to bring up how excited we are for the new Frankie Ocean album.
Yeah, if that comes out. I'm not getting excited yet. I don't know if that's ever going to exist.
We're seeing some articles pop up recently.
We've seen that for 3 years.
This is true, but also James Blake did tweet about it. The world's not ready for...
I would take that as if it's not going to come out. I don't know if it's happening yet.
All right. Well, I want to point out that if it does ever come out, we're stoked.
For it. That's fair. That's a good... yeah. But we're going to end it there. We just thought this would be kind of a fun cast to talk about just whatever kind of was on our minds and also just stuff that's been keeping us interested. And
nice to get a quick half-year update here on what's been going on.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea. Might as well talk about the movies we've been watching now rather than, we always cover, slightly older flicks or older flicks. So it's good to talk about current stuff.
And so stay tuned. There's always lots to come from us. So
please do, yeah. And don't forget to check us out on all the social medias. You got Facebook. Actually, don't take Twitter. Instagram, YouTube, of course. Please subscribe. Subscribe on SoundCloud as well and iTunes, all your podcast sources. We're pretty much on all of them at this point. So just if you check into your favorite podcast app for the second viewing, you'll find us there. Anyways, guys, I'm Kyle.
I'm Dan.
We're signing out. You guys have a great week.
Stay easy, stay breezy, stay beautiful. Cover girl.